today. It's the 2008 swing vote for Election Day. It's Election Day. Everyone is in line, waiting to vote. Well, we have a lovable, fantastic comedy / drama, but it's Kevin Costner. He's a lovable loser, and he is the one deciding vote for a national presidential election. This movie is fantastic. It's memory hold, meaning I'm probably telling you about this movie for the very first time. But why is this important? It's important way beyond we're kind of doing it like a theme day because we're doing election stuff today. No. This movie's important because this style of film has gone. This style of comedy no longer exists. And we have to get into it because we are the Film Buff Podcast.
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take 1.
Action!
Okay, AKAPAD. What we're going to do here, and we're doing something irregular. I'm not going to tell you guys to vote, by the way. I literally just thought, me and team AKAPAD, the AKAPAD army, I just thought we just recorded the episode, and it was just really a retrospective of Kevin Costner's filmography leading into this film. So following some of what I'm about to say, we will get into Kevin Costner's filmography, and I'm going to give you some thoughts, give you some films to check out, and pretty much explain his arc when he emerged onto the scene. Not his entire career, but really that 90s Kevin Costner that we're all still addicted to. Swing State. Oh my God. So this movie has one incredible cast. Can I just read you who's in this movie? Kevin Costner, Paula Patton, Kelsey Grammer. These are the political opposition. Kelsey Grammer, and he's facing off against Dennis Hopper, Nathan Lane, Stanley Tucci. These are the guys that run the two campaigns / cabinets. George Perez. This movie is so stacked. Everyone is so good in this movie. This movie is written and directed by Joshua Michael Stern, who doesn't have much of a writing filmography. He doesn't have much of a directing filmography. The way how he leads into this movie, you think Joshua is just maybe like a fan of Barry Levinson, where we see Americana, we see the life, we see a town that we all imagine, that we do know exists, that we do know people live in. A town with a local bar, and that local bar is everything. A town with just a lovable loser. A town that can have a loser. A town that might have a chicken factory that Kevin Costner works in that he can't keep a job at. Kevin Costner, the stretch of his character is very much like Tom Cruise in War of the Worlds, where you just want to punch them in the face, but you know they're good. The whole plot of this movie, now, given this plot makes sense if the political elements are somewhat unserious. Kelsey Grammer, he's the sitting president. Like he's a little bit of an LOL. He's an abstraction. Dennis Hopper, a little bit of a abstraction. A lot of the things they joke about policy-wise and things in this movie, believe it or not, are happening today. Stanley Tucci I love him on screen sometimes. I just like him. I like his voice. I just like how the camera picks up on him. I don't know, AKAPADers. He's great. I would love to see Stanley Tucci in a completely off the rails, psychotic role. But this movie just feels like it was written and directed for Kevin Costner. You would maybe even argue it was directed by Kevin Costner because it just works so well. But he has a daughter, and the daughter needs to do a school project. She needs to write about and document her father casting a vote for the presidential election. And she was just on the local news. And it's one of the girls from, I think, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol that that girl that kicks the assassin girl out of the window, whatever the heck her name is. I always loved her. I don't know her name, and I really don't care, just because she's great in whatever she's in. Go check her out. She's the news reporter. She puts his daughter on TV. The day of the election, the girl's on TV reading an essay, and he's drunk at a bar, and he can't even make his way to the voting place. So she walks to the bar because she's been waiting there all day, and she drives the truck to the voting place, and he can't get out of the car. So she casts the vote because the old guy, like they're at the end of the day, end of the night, and this dude is sleeping. So she casts his vote. The machine dies, and then it's an unregistered, registered vote, and it's loose. But then the entire country, the election, it all descends on Kevin Costner, and here we go. We have swing vote. This movie is a slice of life in America, is a slice of the American culture. Voting is a ritual. It's something that we do. We line up, we take off of work, we go back to work. Schools are sometimes closed. I know here in Philly today, all the schools are closed today and tomorrow, I believe. This is an important thing, and I never want to diminish the value of voting, but I always say this, and this is maybe the most politics you'll ever get on this podcast, AKAPADers. Know your local issues and know them well. Okay, know what you're voting for. Know your local individuals or your local politicians. National politics, sure, it's entertaining, but local. You have to dedicate yourself to local. If you can't do local, that's fine. But I guess at that point, just swing, just swing your vote to the national side. A lot of people will take the national politics and they'll downvote. So I think some of that is disingenuous. I think the more you know about your local representatives and what's really on the ballot, that's what you have to pay attention to, because that's really what you're voting for. It's cool to have your guy in the White House, but you can have your guy in the White House and still have things thriving locally because you voted in a particular way and what worked for you. I love this movie, AKAPADers. I think this movie is it's a style of comedy that is just very loose, but well written, well acted, and it just moves. And I don't know, I just think talent wise, because comedic talent and comedic interpretation and direction shifts every few years. And that's a lot of what I mean about this style of comedy, dies with the age that it's made in. But that doesn't diminish similar things that are done now. I just mean if we want like a mid-2000s comedy, that kind of slants a little dramatically because the girl's tortured because her dad's such a drunk. You feel for her. But at the same time now, it's there. It's a good timepiece as well, just in the history of American film and American film comedies. I think Kevin Costner is incredible. It's upsetting that this movie is memory hold, but when I thought about doing an episode for the election, this was the first and only thing that really came to mind. So, AKAPADers, before we sign off, I just want to go through the career of Kevin Costner to what led to this movie. But keep in mind, that got recorded before everything you just heard. We're doing things a little bit out of sequence today, and that's because, sometimes I just run my mouth and we don't know what to do with it. So, AKAPADers, rock and roll.
Kevin Costner's
career,
Kevin Costner.
It didn't skid, but really wasn't until the 2013 Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, where he was Pa Kent. One of the best Pa Kents on screen, by the way. He skidded. And it was all from The Postman. The Postman came out in 1997. So from 1997 to 2013, we want to say Kevin Costner, can I talk? Kevin Costner had a lull period. It was a slowdown, but amongst this run, there were some really, really good movies. Movies so good, in fact, they are better than his previous run. So, Man of Steel happens, and Kevin Costner becomes a character actor. He's in the forefront of a lot of these movies, but he's kind of not the focal point. Because he's also aging. We see this a lot. But he's active. And then eventually he roars back with Yellowstone. He roars back with the movie he came out with this year, Horizon. As far as I know, Horizon is 3 chapters long. It should be about a 9 to 12 hour long movie. He's aiming for Horizon to be the greatest filmed Western of all time. So he does Swing Vote. And Swing Vote is from 2006, 2007, 2008. Kevin Costner puts together 3 really good movies. The Guardian, Mr. Brooks, and Swing Vote. Swing Vote plays into the Kevin Costner that we love. He is great as a lovable loser. We see this in a lot of his baseball movies. We see this in Bull Durham, and we see this for Love of the Game. If we want to highlight when I speak about the run of Kevin Costner, we pretty much start in 1987 with The Untouchables, but he also makes No Way Out. And No Way Out is fantastic. You feel free to fact check me. No Way Out co-stars Gene Hackman. So 1987, Brian De Palma's Untouchables. Then we have Field of Dreams. Then in 1990, he directs and stars in Dances with Wolves and takes the Oscars by storm. 1991, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Incredible movie. I love this movie. JFK, also incredible. 1992, The Bodyguard takes the world by storm. 1993, A Perfect World. A little bit of a slowdown movie, but we have Clint Eastwood. Great period piece. Tragic. I compare it a little bit to Cool Hand Luke, where you just don't want the guy to meet his demise at the end of the movie. You kind of feel bad. And 94 really begins a little bit of this downturn. We have Wyatt Earp, we have The War, directed by Jodie Foster. Wyatt Earp, by the way, is incredible. 95, we have one of the most expensive busts of all time. Waterworld. It lived in Universal Studios Florida as a stunt show. Kept it alive. All of it. Right? We talk about that with Beetlejuice. Waterworld is such a fantastic movie. That's Kevin Reynolds. That's also the director of Robin Hood. Kevin Reynolds' career skids, and he doesn't quite rebound. But Kevin Costner is still Kevin Costner, right? There's a lot of good faith. 96, Tin Cup with Don Johnson, Rene Russo. I think Ron Sheldon directed that. Tin Cup is fantastic. I quote Tin Cup all the time. 97, this is it. More post-apocalyptic fun, as we had with Waterworld. We have The Postman. This is a movie that still puzzles individuals today because Kevin Costner was so deeply attached. He's director, he's a star, he's a producer. This movie just angered people. It just did. It just angered them to where they just walked away from him. But we have a return to baseball and sports in 1999 for Love of the Game. ending pretty much his baseball trilogy. Love of the Game has some great moments. I think it's a wonderful sketch of a career final. But this guy's retiring from baseball. He's on the mound. He's pitching a no-hitter, and he's reflecting on his life. It's a great concept. But if you love baseball, you should really enjoy this movie. But Play to the Bone, a somewhat underrated boxing movie. And then we get some low-budget fun. We get 13 Days, 3,000 Miles to Graceland. And we get Dragonfly. And Dragonfly is memory hold. 3,000 Miles to Graceland is we're 2001. So we're kind of ending these giant event movies that we got in the 90s. But it's Kurt Russell, it's Christian Slater, it's Kevin Costner, and they all dress up as Elvis to do a heist. This movie got trashed, but if we go back and watch it, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie with people impersonating Elvis. Why the hell not? 2003, we get Open Range. His return to cowboyism. Open Range. Great movie. But look, we're still a little bit off to that run I mentioned earlier. We have The Upside of Anger, Rumor Has It, and then we hit The Guardian, Mr. Brooks, Swing Vote, The New Daughter, The Company Men, who most people can't even picture him in. But then 2013, Man of Steel. And then we begin this new run where Kevin Costner realigns himself with entertainment. And with the shifting, you kind of want to say with the shifting politics of the world, he kind of makes what it's so weird that people would classify it, but could be right-wing entertainment because Yellowstone is kind of about states' rights. And for some reason, it's crazy and right-wing. Yellowstone, I believe, is just formulaic television. I tried watching a few episodes of it, couldn't wrap my head around it. But Horizon, I regret not bringing that to you guys very quickly, but Horizon is fantastic. So that's, if we needed to encapsulate Kevin Costner's placement before we get into this movie, this is where he is. We're really in the middle of this return of Kevin Costner. But Kevin Costner, career weapon. This guy does a lot of things. Highly intelligent. He's not a dummy. He picks projects. He's good in projects. He picks great projects. Not everything he touches is gold, but he's a career guy and somewhat of a template. A lot of people should emulate the career of Kevin Costner. He has done television. He is a producer. He has done a lot in all of it, all facets of film production. So I don't know, AKAPADers. We're all into Kevin Costner here. Why the heck not? So, if you guys can, I don't know, support the effort. Give me a subscription, give me a like, give me a comment. If you're catching this on YouTube, let me know. Rock and roll, guys. AKAPAD the Film Buff.
Okay, that's a wrap.